time for Tom's Real Food Podcast.
This week's podcast is brought to you by Keto Clean Eating. Spice up your life with Tommy Spice. The Sunday Dinner Chef, Tom Garvey, the Keto Cook, Meg's Mysteries every Saturday, and today's guest, Mama and Papa Joe Barbecue. Let's go to the podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back. I am Tom Garvey, the Keto Cook, and today on Tom's Real Food Podcast, I have a very special guest. We became fast friends here on YouTube. He is a great chef. I'm calling him a chef because you know what? He is the barbecue master as far as I'm concerned. So I want to introduce right now my good friend, CJ from Mama Papa Joe Barbecue. Sir, hello.
What's up, Tom? How you doing, buddy?
Well, I tell you what, I couldn't be better. I'm going to just make this up a little close and personal here, and then we can back it off once in a while.
Yes, sir.
So, CJ does barbecue, and he is a champion. He unbelievable. If you want to watch and learn how to operate your pits, your fire, how to trim briskets and stuff like that, this is the guy right here. I got to get the arrows right. This is the guy right here to do it. So if you wouldn't mind, Papa, I'm going to call you Papa Joe. If you wouldn't mind, can you explain a little bit about how you got started in barbecue, and we'll go on from there.
Well, first of all, Tom, I really appreciate the invite, man. Thank you very much. You know, we've been working on this, trying to get our ducks in a row for a couple of months, and we finally made it happen. So thank you once again for the invite. I'm looking forward to some quality conversation. We're Mom and Papa Joe's competition. We were a competition barbecue team. And how we got started, man, is a pretty cool subject as far as I'm concerned. You know, like most men, and I'm not saying that to be any kind of macho man, but like most men, man, I've always loved outdoor cooking, open fire cooking, and way back when, I often found myself on the grill anywhere. I could go to your house, and if you fire up the grill, somehow or other, I'll find myself on the grill because that's what I enjoy doing. And as time went on, I just really started taking it a little more serious. And I can remember boiling ribs back in the days, you know, throwing it on the grill, throwing some sauce on it, and all my buddies telling me, "Man, this is some of the best stuff ever."
Yeah.
You know, and you're really thinking you're doing it while you actually weren't. But I joined the military in 1985. I'm 63 years old. Joined the military in 1985, and I remember unit events, outdoor cooking, barbecue, hot dogs. Again, I'd end up thrown on the grills. And it just grew from there. When I retired in 2006 from the
Wow.
military, and stayed in the same area where I had all my military friends. And over the years, as active duty, they all started, you know, changing stations, going their different ways. I found myself lacking uh, the hangouts with my buddies, the
Mhm.
dominoes, the barbecues, the spades games. I found myself missing that because all my buddies had changed stations. You know, they went elsewhere. So I was looking for something to sort of bring back that type of companionship, that
Got it.
male companionship. And I had a military buddy who lived, give or take, 10 minutes from me. And we used to barbecue at each other's house every other weekend. We'd be at his house or my house. And we always used to rib each other about whose barbecue was better. And one New Year's Eve, we was at his house hanging out, and we happened to catch an episode of Pitmasters, one of the early episodes of Pitmasters. And we both looked at each other and said it almost simultaneously, man, we ought to do that. You know, and this is December, right before January, and immediately, the wheels started turning, and we came up with a plan. Couldn't wait for things to warm up. Went out to a couple of competitions, found a competition calendar, a sanctioning body calendar. Went out to a couple of competitions and saw how people set up, the type of equipment they used. Uh, and about $3,500 later, I've got a generator, I've got some pop-up tents, I've got some Weber Smoky Mountains, and some plastic tables, and we're headed to a cook-off. Not knowing a thing about competition barbecue,
That's
and
funny.
that was the start of man. What really went a long ways in terms of accomplishments, in terms of uh, the people we met, and in terms of highlights and lowlights.
Hmm.
So 2010 was the start of our competition barbecue uh, crawl, I should say.
Yeah. The thing that intrigues me about your channel and about what you do is the dedication. Don't give up. Don't ever give up is my motto with anything. But just the way you kept it going. And I got to add one thing to it before you continue. Your camera person is spot on. So
Well, Tom, you say that, and this was day before yesterday. Uh, I don't know what was going on, but Mama was watching YouTube in the bedroom, and I guess one of our early videos came across, and she watched it. And I was in the living room on the couch, and I guess after the video goes off, she came into the living room and said, "CJ, you cannot believe how bad we were when we first started." And And Tom, I cringe, because every once in a while I will go back and watch a video, and I am like, oh my goodness, I am surprised that we were even gaining subscribers with the dark videos, with the poor camera angles, the poor lighting, the audio sounding so canny. And I'm definitely not saying that we've cracked the code on all that in terms of quality, but man, we've come a long way. We've improved, we've learned, and again, nothing gets you better at something than doing that something. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So we've still got work to do, but man, we've come a long way.
I look at some of my old videos and I say, man, oh man, you have no business
Yeah,
operating a camera. CJ, I dropped. Actually, my grandson is the one who got me into this. I was cooking one day and he come out with his phone and he's 10 years old and he's saying, "Pop, you should do YouTube. You should be on YouTube." All right, well, what are you talking about? We'll make videos. So he's the one that actually started me. But
yeah,
then I went out and I bought a camera, a cheap one, like a camcorder type of thing,
yeah, yeah,
and I had it up over a pot of soup that I was making. Okay, and I don't think I secured it right, and the whole camera bloop right into the soup. So I feel your pain, or unbelievable. So, um, looking back on your videos and stuff like that, you traveled around pretty much.
Yeah, we did a lot of traveling. If you're going to be on the competition circuit, you're going to travel all over the competitions. Over the years, we traveled to Florida, New Mexico, Louisiana, Alabama,
Yeah,
and several other states for and anytime with the American Royale in Kansas City. So anytime we left the state, it was for something big. We're just not going to go for any willy nilly cook off out of state. So it was always something significant.
Okay.
And man, they never disappointed. And if you're out there and you're interested in competition barbecue, folks, I would tell you go for it, man. I would tell you go for it. And uh, as I look back in retrospect, if we had have gone big from the very get, we would have saved us some dollars because as we jumped in, we incrementally started scaling up our equipment and so forth. So we would have saved some money if we had just got it jump. If we had went large from the very start. But once again, it's something that you really need to be into before you get into it. You can't get in there um, kind of half-assing it, because it's an expensive hobby in terms of what you're going to need
Hmm.
and what you're going to need to do. Meats are expensive, especially in today's time. Meats are expensive, fuel's expensive, the whole 9 yards. So before you get to a competition, you're going to be $700-800 easy in the hole if you're going to do it right.
Hmm.
But the rewards can be immense, and I'm not talking necessarily financial, but the friends you're going to create, the experiences you're going to have, the places you're going to visit, the camaraderie, they're priceless. They
Right.
are priceless.
Yeah. And and your videos reflect that because like the how to, how to do this, how to trim stuff, and everything like that. To me, I think is very educational. So for somebody, I will leave CJ's link, Mama Papa Joe Barbecue, in the description box down below. Please go check it out because it is worth your while. Even if you're a weekend warrior, as far as making barbecue and stuff, there's a lot of knowledge there for you to pick up. I also look back on it and I said, the satisfaction that you get, whether you win prizes or just a ribbon or something like that, that's the whole idea. That's what keeps that little thing in your mind going about it. Well, next week I'm going to do this. And next week we're going to try that. We're going to this competition. Let's try something different. And
Yes.
and it really means a lot. It really does.
Yes, it does. We early on, like anybody that decides to get into it, you've got an idea that yes, I can barbecue. You've got to have that mentality. I'm pretty good at barbecuing. Whether it's because your family members have been telling you that over the years, or your friends have been telling you that over the years, you go into a competition, your first competition, thinking, I can barbecue. And I'm here to tell you, it's a different animal.
Yeah.
Backyard barbecue does not compare in any way, shape, or form with competition barbecue. There's a steep learning curve.
Yes.
Uh, YouTube has cut that learning curve quite a bit because there are lots of competition content creators who put stuff on YouTube, so you can really crack the code a lot faster than when I started in 2010. Uh,
Hmm.
so that is one way to go about it. Uh, Secondly, there are a bunch of different classes out there for competition barbecue. If you're interested in that, we had a very successful class from 2015 until 2022, and over that period, I stopped tracking in 2022 when we stopped the class. But over that period, I counted over 600 grand and reserve grand championships from the alumni of our competition class.
Hmm.
Some of the best cooks in Texas right now have taken our class. I'm not saying our class made them the best cook in Texas because many of them have gone on to take additional classes and so forth.
Hmm.
But I would like to think that we played a healthy role in them becoming the cooks that they've become.
Yeah, you know what? And I also look back as a chef, retired. Um, I, when I first started doing YouTube, and also my second channel, the Sunday Dinner Chef. When I started doing that, how you get some negative comments and stuff like that. And I had one guy say to me, "Well, you're trying to barbecue. You're not a barbecue guy, and this and that." And he said, "You never was in competition." And I cordially tried to be nice to the guy. Okay, and I said I was in the restaurant business. I had a competition 7 nights a week,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
365 days a year for many years. And if I failed, my restaurant failed.
Yes.
I said, so it's a different type of, but
Yes.
you get them
Oh,
fly by night guys, and I don't pay attention to them anyway. Um, but the competition that you were in, I tell you what, I don't know if I could handle that. I mean, that's a different breed.
oh yeah. And the it's so subjective. Tom, there are going to be days where you turn in to the judges some of the best barbecue that you've ever cooked.
Yeah,
There are going to be times when you think, man, I've hit the nail on the head today. I love everything I turned in, and you might stay seated the entire award ceremony. Never get your number called, and you walk away scratching your head. That, and then just the opposite will happen on another day. You turn
yeah,
in stuff that you weren't very happy with, and man, you killed it. So it's so subjective. You've just got to be willing to roll the dice, so to speak, and
hmm
go out there and do it. Very important, you know. Roll with the highs, but don't lay down with the lows.
yeah,
It's gonna ebb and flow. You want to get your barbecue. You want to get your products to a point where every weekend they're middle of the road. People on the left are going to like them. People on the right are going to like them. And if you're able to do that on a consistent basis, those
hmm
grand championships will come.
yep,
Uh, for us, it took us a good 2 years before we started to see uh, the opening at the end of the tunnel. Before we started to see the
hmm
light, we figured some things out. We had sat down and spoken with some of the more senior cooks.
right,
We had picked their brains, and we had started piecing the things together in at the end of our second year. And man, in 2013, our third year, things just took off and went to the moon.
hmm
We really started doing it, and man, let the good times roll.
yeah, and you know what? I get intrigued about when you just generally cooking, okay, in the house, in the oven, stuff like that. The passion I see, and that's the thing that I want people to understand. All right, doing it as long as you've been doing it, as long as I've been doing it. Okay, the passion, you never lose the passion of it. Okay, well, I watch you trim. I watch the knives that you use. Okay, and how you're trimming. excuse me, trimming things. Brisket, for instance, how you trimming that stuff up. And I'm saying it, there it is right there. I mean, I got a cleaver. I think it was my grandfather's, and he was a butcher. Okay, I still put a edge on that damn thing,
Yes,
whether I
sir.
use
Yes,
it or
sir.
not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So that's what I'm intrigued about with your channel and stuff like that, and your teaching methods. I mean,
yeah,
this is how you do it. This is how I do it, is what you say, and
yeah,
I think that goes a lot longer way than just saying, "Well, this is the way you're supposed to do it." Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Well, Tom, in another life, I would be a butcher because I love the idea of trimming meat.
mm,
If there was a butcher shop out there that was hiring somebody to trim competition meats, man, I'd get me a part-time gig and go do it because I do it for fun. You know, uh, Even since I've stopped competitions, I have had several friends over just to help them out with competition trims.
yeah.
And again, that's just another way of me keeping in touch with some of the guys, sitting back and still having a few brews,
Yep.
and just helping them trim their competition meats. I still enjoy that type of stuff. But uh, we figured out quickly that competition and YouTube will only go so far. We started out with the majority of our content being geared towards the competition scene, but there's a far greater audience for cooking in general as opposed to competition focused.
Yeah.
So outside of our first year on YouTube, uh, we we sprinkle in competition content in there, but we really started playing around with the stovetop. And a couple of years into it, uh, I thought about it, and I figured, man, there are lots of people out there who can't barbecue for whatever reason. They don't have the confidence, they don't have the equipment. They may live in condos or apartments where open fires aren't allowed,
Right.
and they still want to have something resembling barbecue. And one of my big push, one of the codes I was trying to crack was, how can I uh, make barbecue in the oven that looks like it came off of the pit? And I've always felt if I can cook something on the pit, Tom, I can cook it in the oven and
Exactly.
still have it come out looking like it was cooked on the pit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
You,
and man, I think we've some of our most successful videos are oven videos.
yeah. You cracked that nut.
Imagine
That's
that.
for sure. You cracked
Yeah,
that nut for sure.
yeah,
Yeah. There again, I look at it this way: fire is fire. Okay, and if you're a good master of fire and understand the heat element and how it works, you can
yes,
cook. You can cook on a match.
yes,
Um,
sir, yes, sir.
and that's the big thing where people get. I don't know if they don't see the full picture of it. Okay, but your recent videos and stuff that you've been doing in the ovens, I mean, spot on.
Yes,
Okay, now you have inspired me to do other things on that Sunday dinner chef. Not this week, but I think is it this week or next week? I'm not sure. Uh, I got my old roasting bones out. Okay, you did it to me, man. I finally found a place out here that has beef bones with the marrow,
yes,
everything in it.
yes,
Okay, and I made that video, and I tell you what, CJ, it brought me back.
yes, sir,
Okay,
yes, sir.
it brought me back 30 years ago. Okay, and how I used to do this every day in a 200 quart pot. Okay, roast a couple 100 pounds of bones. Okay, and make my stocks for the week.
Yes,
Okay, and
yeah,
have to do
yeah.
that every Sunday night into Monday, and it felt so good. I said, God, I feel rejuvenated again, with making it. And it's a long video. It's like 45
Yes, it is.
minutes.
Yes, it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah,
don't care. I'm just going to put it up. If
yeah.
one person watches it, I'm fine with that also.
Yes, sir.
But how we go back and forth when with our comments and stuff with one another. But I'm still intrigued about how you perfected your end of it as far as your competitions side. I'm going to ask you this now. This is personal. Okay, you don't have to tell
Yeah.
me. How many trophies have you got?
Woo, Tom. It if I once took pictures of the garage because Mama will only allow certain trophies in the house
I love it.
because a lot of trophies they tend to become a little repetitive in the way they look, in the way they're built. But we've got like world championship boxing belts. Uh, we've got guitars as trophies. Those types of trophies the mom allow in the house. I've got a few behind me, grand championship trophies that are just a part of what I call our little live stream studios. But
Mhm.
for the most part, everything else is in the garage, gathering dust. They've covered the walls with plaques and different things. The shelves are holding trophies. Uh, Things like uh, cutting boards and cutting board trophies and those types of things are stacked in a corner on the floor. There's just no place to put them. There's and that's a good problem to have.
Hmm.
It really shows that we've been successful over the years. Uh, we've got a bunch of banners that we just there's no place to hang them. But every
That's
time
funny.
I step in the garage and I take a moment to just reflect, it I can't help but smile,
Yeah.
and I can't help but be proud of what Mom and I accomplished. From very humble beginnings. I mean, man, we started at the bottom, like the song says,
Hmm.
and worked our way to the top. And this was during a period when there weren't very many competition classes.
Hmm.
There wasn't YouTube University and so on. So a lot of it, man, we just kind of pieced together to become successful. So I couldn't even begin to tell you. And over the years, as I move things around the garage, I will, without a doubt, elbow something, knock it over, falls to the floor, crashes, and it goes in the trash.
Yeah.
But I told Mama some months ago, I said, maybe we have to find a boys' clubs or girl clubs where they could repurpose some of the trophies as opposed to just trashing them. Uh, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see how that goes.
It would be nice to start a junior barbecue uh, league or something like that. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
I think that would be my grandson, who now is 23. He said to me, "Pop, you got to explain yourself a little bit more. You're cutting. I'm." I made a recipe one time in 8 minutes. He said, "Pop, you did no justice to it.
Yeah.
You did no 8 minutes. It just wasn't there." So
Yeah.
getting stuff from other people and stuff like that. But your passion, I mean, actually shows, and I appreciate it because um, the way you get into it, okay, and just listening to your voice, and especially at the end when you try something, you, I know it's good. I can taste it through your video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got out of it. Okay, what'd you say? 3 years ago.
Yes.
Okay, 3 years ago, dropped it. And do you miss it at all? Miss the traveling or anything?
I will tell you, Tom. COVID hit in what 2020, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And we started doing this in 2010, and around 2018, uh, I really started to feel uh, less motivated about competition barbecue. And a lot of it had to do with, uh, again, my friends, my core group of guys, where we would reach out to each other to see, hey, are you going to be at this event? Are you going to be at that event? Uh, I'm in spot 56. Make sure you get 57. Make sure you get 58, 59, so we can be next to each other.
Right.
That core group of guys, one by one, man, they found other things to do. They left competition barbecue, and towards the end of 2018, I was finding myself at competitions with very few of those guys left. Very few of my sit down guys having a beer, sitting around the fire, breaking out a bottle of whiskey or something, and just having some real good line conversations on a particular evening.
Hmm.
So I really started to feel that loss,
Right.
and it only deepened as we moved into COVID. And now, when COVID hit and competition barbecue shut down for that extended period, yes, in the beginning, I really was jonesing for competition. You
Hmm.
know, I was jonesing for my classes. I missed because I'd give a class every couple of months. So those types of things I was missing. And that is when I was introduced to YouTube. I had
Okay.
a friend reach out to me and said, "Man, you should start a YouTube channel, for your competition class and such." And prior to that, Tom, I always thought YouTube was about movies.
Me
I
too.
never really spent any time on YouTube prior to that. I actually thought it was all about movies, and I was like, I don't know anything about YouTube, man. And I remember at one competition in 2019, I was in Austin, and Alton, the dog father,
Hmm.
came to my camp, and he introduced himself. And I was like, "Oh man, good to meet you." I'd never met him before. I didn't know anything about him,
Hmm.
but we sat and we talked for maybe 5, 10 minutes, and he went on about his business. Well, when I went to YouTube, I don't know if it was fate, whatever the case might be, but one of his videos popped up, and I hit it. And when I saw him, I said, "Hey, I recognize that dude from somewhere."
Hmm.
And I sat and I thought, and I said, boom, I ran into him in Austin. And of course, I went through his channel and I saw some of his other grill content, his barbecue content. And I was like, wow. And it was early Dogfather before he took off.
Hmm.
And I was like, wow, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
And the more I looked into it, the more I realized that, man, there's a real market for cooking videos.
I,
And that was the start of it.
I,
Uh,
I
Go ahead.
did last March. I got contacted by Monument Grills. Okay.
Yeah.
And would you be interested in out here at the center out here, Las Vegas Convention Center? Would I be interested in cooking with them on their grills and all stuff like that? I said, well, I got to think about it. So I went back and I said, yeah, okay, whatever. And that we set it up. Okay, now we're getting into how we're going to do things and blah blah blah. And then they brought Johnny Red in. Okay, backyard barbecue.
Yes.
Okay, he was actually a spokesman from Monument early on. So we set it up that we're gonna the two days that we were gonna cook and stuff like that, and then how things play out as far as well, what are you gonna cook? So I come up with a menu as far as I said. Look, I said I do keto. That's my biggest thing on for my channels. Keto is the bigger one. I said so. Keep it true to me. I'm going to show people you can do the barbecue, and also I made cowboy butter is what I made.
Yeah.
Okay, so they got the meat from some guy in Texas. Okay, yeah, Eastern Texas. I'm slight of his name right now, but he sent us out Wagyu skirts. Okay,
Awesome.
and I think he sent us out. I think 1,000 or 500 or something like that. But when we got it in the morning, it was frozen.
Yes,
So let the games begin. So then they brought a couple other
sir.
guys, a couple of the local guys in and stuff like that. But as we're doing it, okay, as we're cooking, I had one guy cooking, and I was slicing, all right, and put it into a pan and put the cowboy butter on it. And one day, I believe we served over 1,000 people going through this. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so everybody's ass was dragging, tired like that. I said, "Come on, guys, what are you doing?" You know, this is just a day's work. Let's rock and roll. You know what I mean? But I met Cookham CJ. He was out
Yeah.
there, and he was doing keto at the time. Okay, I met him. Also, I met Grill Sergeant.
Yeah.
Okay, nice guys. There's a couple other people that came through. Big influencers. But I had a line down down a ways a little bit that are eating this beef and stuff like that. So I had a lady come up to me. I had my stickers out and stuff. So she says to me, what's the keto guy doing with this? I said, ma'am, you're eating keto, whether you
I'm
like it or not.
serious.
You know what I mean? So, like the stigmas and stuff like that, would I do it again? Yeah, hell yeah. I'm 71. I ain't quitting nothing. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm just going to keep doing as much as I want. This is your time, but I almost reached out to you maybe 2 years ago. And I was playing in a band out in a casino out here that had a parking garage. All right. And they talked to me about setting up a barbecue competition out there in their parking garage. I have no clue about a
No
barbecue
clue. Yeah.
competition. No, and I was going to pick your brain a little bit, and then I thought about it. I says, I am not going to get involved with something I don't know nothing about,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to hurt other people who were going to do the competitions. So I think that collaborative move on my end was dead on. What would be your opinion on that?
No, that man, that is not a bad idea, Tom. For something like that, you definitely want someone uh, who has that knowledge, somebody who's aware of what it requires to run a quality competition, regardless of how small or how large it is. You're going to need some experienced people to handle the judges, to handle the rules. So, based on who you are working with in terms of the organizers, they would have to be willing, to spend a little bit if you're going to bring somebody in with that kind of background, that kind of knowledge from out of town,
Hmm.
to maybe cover travel and lodging. But you're not going to, outside of a head judge or a head organizer, you're not going to require any additional expenses.
Hmm.
You're going to need to find judges in the local area. You're going to need uh, uh, plates. You're going to need trays. You're going to need those types of utensils to organize. You're going to need chairs, tables, those types of things. But outside of the lodging and the travel, or maybe compensate whoever is going to run the cook-off,
Hmm.
it's not going to be much more than that. Everything else is going to be fairly local.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be over the top expensive, but it's very, very important that you bring in somebody with the know. Otherwise, you could end up with a lot of unhappy cooks,
Hmm.
and that is not going to bode well for future if this is something you plan on doing annually or biannually. So upfront, it's going to cost just a little bit, but it's not going to be ridiculous.
Hmm. Cool. They also ran by me. They wanted me to go into their Italian restaurant. They're closed on Mondays, but invite special guests up to 50, and me explain the recipes and stuff like that, and then have the kitchen staff come in and cook. You know what I mean? That I can
Yeah.
handle. That's in my wheelhouse right there. You know.
Well, dude, I'm here to tell you. Every time I watch one of your videos, man, and I listen to your explanations. And I've told you in the past, you remind me so much of one of my culinary heroes, Justin Wilson's.
Uh-huh.
The storytelling, the background information in relation to what you're doing, what you're cooking. I love it. And I'm here to tell you, Tom, the vibes I get from the background music, your intro music, uh, I just want to chill. I mean, I want a little snifter of some good cognac. I can just imagine what things were like back in the days with the Rat Pack. Somebody sitting up in that club just sipping and listening to those crooners do their thing. So I absolutely love it, man, and I look forward to those videos. Look forward to the music. Uh, Tell me, how do you do that?
Well,
I
I've
want
been
to know.
as alongside of my uh, cooking career. Okay, I played drums for since I think I was like 7. Okay, and we had my brother and I had a club back in New Jersey, and we had a rock bands. I mean, we had all Twisted Sister, all these top name
Yeah.
people from New York and stuff. We had that, and then I went my way. He kept a club and stuff like that, and every once in a while I would go in and play. So, long story short, I moved out here to Las Vegas, retired, and I told my wife, "You're gonna hate me for this, but I got the itch to start playing again." She says, "The drums?" I said, "No, the ukulele. What the heck do you think I'm talking about?" You know. So, I bought an electric set of drums. Okay, and I started practicing. I was rusty. I started playing again, but I had a program from back in the day to make music for the restaurant and stuff like that. So what I would do is almost like modern day type of thing. But it was a program I could eliminate guitars, I can eliminate bass, I can eliminate all the instruments, eliminate the voice or the drums, and I would practice to that music. So out here, when I started playing, with a group of guys and stuff like that, they would send me the music, and I would put it in my program and take it out. Okay, so I started using that with an AI type of thing, but I write my own lyrics,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I inserted into that right there. Well, lo and behold, um, that program was becoming obsolete, and the price was starting to go up to get more add-ons and stuff to it. And I'm not going to pay that kind of money for that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So now I'm bouncing back and forth with. I have enough music that I to have stored, and I'm just trying to rework stuff with AI. So that's where AI is coming into it now. It's getting much better. So I'm still working on a couple programs, and when I do find one, I'll send it. I'll send you the one. You
Well,
know.
I'm here to tell you, dude, there ought to be recordings that people can purchase because it is some it is some good vibing music, man. I love it. Yeah, I love listening to it.
Yeah.
Uh, and maybe that's something you ought to look at where you can create uh, audio for intros or outros or for different creators. That'd
Mhm.
be another little revenue stream. I don't know how much time that takes away from what you do on a weekly basis. I know you're trying to get 2 videos out there a week at least.
Mhm.
Uh, so that might be a little time consuming, but uh, that'd be something I'd be willing to pay for. We're going to talk about that offline. But that'll be something I'm willing to pay for.
Now, getting into that, okay, and making videos and stuff. You say when you started making the videos and stuff, um, do you find it difficult, or are you rolling with it?
Man, and anybody out there interested in starting a channel or whatever the case might be, just do it. Just do it. You're gonna struggle at first, unless you're accustomed to being in front of the camera. You're gonna struggle. Do not feel the need to be perfect.
Thank you.
As you look across YouTube, as you look across social media, uh, you're gonna see where people miss their mark in different ways. So perfection is not going to happen. But what is going to happen is you're going to get more comfortable in front of the camera. You're going to get more comfortable with your mistakes. Your wordings are going to get better. And once you reach that point where you realize, it's not a problem, or where you realize I can fix this in editing, I can take something out. You're just going to roll with the punches.
Hmm.
You know, you're going to realize, man, you know what? I don't have to start this whole clip over. I can just correct this in editing.
Hmm.
And if you're not used to editing video as we were, we just picked the editing program out of thin air because we didn't know our butts from our elbows. So once I picked it, then I had to learn it. And again, the only way to learn it is to use it.
That's it.
And I'm here to tell you, we use Filmora.
Okay.
What I like about Filmora is that it was a one-time price, and then you've got it for a lifetime, and it is continually updated a couple of times a year with fresh features
Hmm.
that you don't have to pay for. But if Filmora has, and we've been doing YouTube now, this is our fifth year. If Filmora has 10 levels, uh, our videos are still stuck in level one. So we don't get fancy. We don't have the bells and the whistles. I don't have SpongeBob jumping in. I don't have any movie stars chiming in during our videos. We just let our videos. We just let the cooking, the proteins, the whatever. We let them speak for themselves, man. No bells and whistles. We just try to put together a video. And you
Yeah.
mentioned, the longer videos. Tom, as long as necessary to tell a story. As long as necessary to tell a story. I don't want to fluff up our videos to reach a certain number of minutes. If I can tell a story in five, I'm going to tell it in five. If it takes me 15, I'm going to tell it in 15. But I want to give you just about all of the pertinent information. That way, when you decide, man, I think I can do this, that you're going to have all that info that you need. And somebody might need something that I didn't provide. And you hit me up in the question. I'm very, very quick to respond and take
Hmm.
care of.
Yep. You are, like I said, you are the teacher as far as, like I said, as far as barbecue. You know Grumpus, right? Grumpus on
Yes,
fire.
yes, yes. Met
Okay.
him a couple of times.
I me and him, we came around basically same sense of humor, this and that, and he Bill turned. I sent Bill out a olive oil bottle. Okay,
Yes.
2 years ago. Okay, and I said to him, "Open the box, please." He never opened the box until one night he opened it. Okay,
Yeah.
but he's laid back. Okay, and I said to him, I says, "I'm going to change my name. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that." He went, "Don't do that." Okay, sent me a text, the whole bit, and I was worried about making 8-minute videos. And
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you just said right here, I mean, that's exactly what he said. If it takes 15 minutes, it takes 15 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Tell your story.
Yeah.
And I finally got to the point where I got that. I got to get there. I got to get there. No, can't do it. Just can't do it. So my next point with my man here is his different approach now to oven cooking, like you had mentioned before. Okay, and just cooking different stuff. It's phenomenal, it really is, and I'm so happy to see that it's not just. I mean, you do. I would rather open fire cook, than inside, but there again, I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
restrictions. I had CJ. I had Bighorn send me out an overhead broiler.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet.
No, I set that up on the balcony. Not supposed to have it. Shh, don't
Yeah.
tell nobody.
Yeah.
I made two ribeyes, and that brought me right back to the restaurant.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh God, the steak
Yeah.
was. I went, oh my God. I do a lot of cast iron cooking and stuff like that, but everybody has their own niche. But this top down cooking, I tell you what, it was really really good. Brought me back to the old days, back in the restaurant and stuff like that. But I want to do different things with it. I don't want to do the same old stuff. Okay. And a couple of your videos that you tried different stuff in your oven. And I got to tell you what, I wish we had smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. And there's nothing better, man, than hearing from a lady in whatever city she's in that comes back and tells you, I've never cooked a brisket before, but I followed your oven brisket video and my family lost their minds. You know, Tom, brisket is not the easiest thing to cook,
No.
and especially, and I'll say it, especially in an oven. And when these individuals who have never cooked a brisket before are following our video and turning out a brisket that their family is thrilled with, man, it makes me feel good. You know,
Yeah.
it really gives me the satisfaction. And I'm here to tell you, our first video as a barbecue guy, as a grill guy, you know, I took a lot of ribbon from my buddies from that first oven videos. Oh, this dude is cooking oven videos, blah 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 blah, and I I I am always one to come back. You know, I've got a response for just about anything. So I
I
would tell
noticed
him,
that.
dude, yeah, I can cook. I will cook on a coffee can if that's what I got, and I'll make it look good and taste good. You know, so they've kind of backed off of it now every time I do an oven video because they know that it is looking. They know that uh, my crust on my oven video looks better than some of their smoker videos. So they've got nothing for me now, and I love it. Matter of fact, when I put one out, I'll tag them right up front yeah, to let them know here's another one for you.
Yeah.
Uh,
It,
but but I love it, and like I said earlier, if I can do it on the smoker, I can do it in the oven, and side by side, you will not be able to tell the difference.
mhm.
You know, and if you're really looking for that smoke flavor, then that's where you would introduce maybe a little liquid smoke, but. I think I made the mistake many years ago of tasting liquid smoke directly out of the bottle,
Yeah.
and I still haven't recovered from that. Uh,
No,
so,
I agree.
so,
I totally agree.
yeah, so I have never used it in terms of cooking, but I guess I need to do it for our fans out there who may be interested in trying to achieve that smoke flavor in the oven.
What I do is I have a box. Okay, I put some chips in it with water. Put it into the oven. Okay, once the water drops down into the and they catch on a little bit over the meat, I shut it down.
Yeah,
I killed it, so my smoke alarms don't go off, but I get
yeah,
that little hint of smoke to it. You know, trial and error, basically what it is. Back in the day, we had what these called Altashams. They were big boxes, and I would hang ribs in them, my pork ribs, and we would slow cook them, uh, basically overnight. Okay, and then I would put the chip box in on the bottom just to get that authentic stuff. We did briskets, but we did them for lunch. No trim. Okay, and cooked them in these things until they were fork tender, and then slice them up that way. Um, just because I was cheap and how much I was paying for them, I didn't want to trim too much stuff off of
yeah, yeah,
it. You
yeah.
know what I mean? But we did that. But the reason why I used to do a lot of brisket is because being an Irishman, I used to make my own corned beef and pastrami, and that was just for um, lunchtime. Pastrami sandwich or corned beef sandwich. Okay,
Oh, I love pastrami.
and I would do it, and then with salt, pepper on it, and a little bit of garlic and cumin. That's what I would put on
Yeah,
my
yeah,
pastrami's. Okay, and then put them in, slow cook them, and they would come out perfect. And why I stopped doing it is because I used to do between 14 and 21 days, and I would put them in the beer cooler behind cases of beer. So nobody would mess with them. I would put two in a container, make the brine, and depending on the size, 14 to 21 days. Well, and had a ledger of when I would just each one that I would do. I tape a
yeah,
new
yeah.
thing on there when I flip them because I got into the restaurant early in the morning. One day I get there and I look and one of the boxes was moved, one of the containers. I stopped everything. I said, I can't take that. I can't take that chance of hurting somebody,
Yeah, yeah,
serving a bad
yeah.
piece of meat. So we discontinued making it. So a friend of mine came in. He says, "Hey, Tom, what happened? No more pastrami?" I said, "No." I said, "We took it off the menu." Wow, where did you get that from? Maybe I can go and buy it. I said, "I know a guy that made it," and that's the way I got away from it. But
Yeah.
you got to be real careful with that kind of stuff. And
Oh, I bet, man. I bet. I love a good pastrami, man. I've made it several times. Matter of fact, I've got a pretty sizable uh, wagyu point
Hmm.
sitting in the freezer. And Mom and I, we were watching some videos about cats in New York.
Cat's
Uh,
Deli.
and I said, man, I need to. I'm overdue for another piece of pastrami. And I said that brisket point is going to be perfect for it. So that's going to show up in the next month or so. Next month or so. Now cold weather is here, and man, I'm thrilled that you already started with those cold weather type stews and soups. Uh, I have got I've got a gumbo. I
Ooh.
usually do try to do one gumbo video a year. And last year, for whatever reason, I didn't get around to one. So I'm definitely due for a gumbo video this year. And I think it's going to be a blue crab gumbo.
Ooh.
So between now and December, I think you'll see one. And it may even be for Thanksgiving.
Well,
Mom and I are not traditional Thanksgiving meal people. We don't eat a whole lot of turkey. Now we eat a lot of turkey sandwiches, but in terms of whole turkeys, they tend to go to waste. And over the last couple of years, I've done a few for videos, but we usually cut them in half or in quarters and divvy out to the neighbors
hmm
because we're just not really into them. But so we may do like a big pot of seafood gumbo for Thanksgiving or something along those lines. You
we
are you are you a gumbo person?
hell yeah. Our restaurant was a seafood and steak restaurant.
Okay.
Daily, I would go through 200 pounds of lobster a day.
Wow.
Okay, shrimp, clams, oysters,
Yeah.
mussels.
Yeah.
Very little bit of fish, but I would every once in a while I would get it. But also we did prime rib, also New York strip, also and CJ back then ribeye was the cheapest cut you could buy.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was one step ahead of brisket. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it was
Yeah.
that fat, low fat type of thing anyway. But we
Man,
pounded.
how times have changed.
Yeah. I used to do 10. I used to do 10 109 prime ribs every day. 10 of them.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just keep rolling with it. Ribs, we
Yeah.
did pork ribs. I would do little pork tenderloins. I would serve as one or for two. Okay. And slow cook that real quick though, but slowly cook it and then make a nice sauce for it, put it on a plate and for two people to share.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
got into it. Gumbos and stuff like that, I made all my own. I did like I said, did all my stocks, did my seafood stock.
Yeah. Oh, gotta have a seafood stock, man. If you're doing seafood gumbo, you gotta have a seafood stock. Do not substitute chicken stock. Make
No,
your own. Yeah.
yeah, and I
Make
also
your
also we
own.
would make a bisque, a lobster bisque.
Yeah. Oh, I've never played with that, but I love it in restaurants.
Boy, I
Yeah.
tell you, I'm
Well,
getting.
Tom, I'm telling you, man, every time I see your videos, listen to you, I just get that throwback vibe. I just get that real throwback vibe, man, and I can only imagine, the '70s, the '80s, what things were like back then. Better prices, good food, quality food.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta love it.
We when I would get done because we had a bar in the place. Okay, so we would shut down the food side from it started at 11:30. We close it at 11 at night. But I stayed, and either one guy would stay with me or not, and I would put out bar food. Okay, so what
Yeah,
I would do is I would use whatever leftover baked potatoes until I sold them out, stuffed baked potatoes, okay, or potato wedges, make a cheese sauce for them, and all that different kind of stuff. And one day I tripped over. I had they sent me out because lunchtime we used to make tacos or quesadilla and stuff like that for lunch. So up the street from us was a prison. It was a boys' home. Okay, and you never guess who I met from working in and out, and didn't know that my dad knew. Okay, the sax player from Billy Joel. No, the Bruce Springsteen.
Bring okay, okay.
I can't think of his name right now. Boy, I tell you,
Yeah,
he would
I would know him.
he would come in every day. Okay, and he would eat this, but they sent me out large tortillas, real big ones, 16-inch.
Yeah.
What the hell am I going to do with these? So at night, I think it was 4 packs, and at night I started taking them and making pizza out of them, sauce and cheese, and sold them at the bar for $2.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I mean, it was a good time. We get done 2 o'clock, especially like on a Friday or Saturday night. I get in the car and we go into New York. Well, I mean, smelling like lobster and
Yeah,
steak
yeah.
and stuff, and we go in and chow down into some of the places that were still open and stuff. It was a great time for me, and I'm glad I did it. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. So, in closing this out, CJ, your future. I mean, um, I hope you don't change anything. I really don't, because your videos are spot on. Okay, and you're down to earth. That's the thing I like about it. I really do.
Well, I appreciate that wholeheartedly, Tom. And man, Mom and I, we've got no, 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 no desire to change anything. We're a fan of cultural food, so you will continue to see us attempting to cook things that aren't traditionally cooked by the average American cooking content creator. We're
Hmm.
still going to play around with Asian. We're going to play around with Indian. We're going to play around with Caribbeans, and still try to do those things justice. Uh, and I know from the history of our channel that when we step outside of what Americans consider everyday stuff, they're not going to do as well as some of the other videos. But uh, once again, Tom, we're filming dinner. You know, I'm not going out there trying to buy things out of the ordinary for a video. I am buying things that we want to eat for dinner. We just
Exactly.
so happen to film that dinner.
Yes, that's what I do.
So, yeah, exactly. So when I tell people that it's got to taste good, it's got to taste good because I am not doing this for video. I'm doing this for dinner
That's right.
or lunch or brunch, whatever the case might be. The when we do the bigger pieces of meat, then yeah, we share.
Hmm.
We'll treat the neighbors brisket. If we do 2 racks of ribs, we're gonna treat the neighbors and so on.
Hmm.
But 8 times out of 10, it's all about a sit down meal for Mom and I.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's gotta taste good, and we're gonna continue to travel culinary as we continue with YouTube. And I've got to tell you this: we're doing Italy and the Mediterranean in the spring, and when we decided to book a cooking class, I immediately thought of you because one of the things we're going to learn to make is pasta. So yeah, and I am so looking forward to that because, dude, even your videos where you're making your own pasta, I'm blown away. I would have never thought of it, and I just love the idea.
and that's the whole idea. See, you did a lamb dish not too long ago,
Yeah,
okay? And I looked at my wife. I said, I have not made lamb in a long time. And that was one of the staples of me growing up.
yeah, yeah,
Was lamb. Okay, I said, got to do it. Sorry, got to
yeah,
do it. So at one point, making videos, me and you were like almost like a tag team.
yeah.
You would make something, I would make something. I make something, you make something. But
And
that's a
man,
good.
isn't lamb just the stepchild of American proteins? It doesn't get it's just stews, man, because lamb is such a delicious cut.
Yeah.
It's so versatile. And I really think it's a shame that more Americans, I don't know whether they've had it cooked properly, uh, but more Americans won't give it a chance because I love it. I love it. I love it. Uh, and I've developed a taste for it, but when people talk about how gamey it is, I just don't see it.
No, I
Yeah,
don't
I
either.
just don't.
I
Yeah,
don't either. We would go through racks and racks and racks of lamb, and even before we moved out here, I would do lamb constantly. But now the price of it
yeah.
is ridiculous.
Oh
And
my goodness.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Dude, when I
everything
when
else.
I go when I go to the store, man, and I'm looking for a little 8 bone rack of lamb that that weighs 2.5 to 3 pounds, and they want $32. I'm like, come on, man.
I picked up we found a new place out here. I picked up a frozen leg of lamb, the whole bone in, the whole bit,
Yeah.
about that long and about that like that. I looked at my wife and I said, "This joker needs to lay down and eat some eat some fat because I mean it's closer to the bone." I tell you what,
Yeah.
I may get maybe 3 pieces out of it, but
I'm serious. Yep.
that's the life that
Absolutely.
we're in. I did a lot of collaborations in the past 2 years, basically on foods from around the world, and then they got kind of crazy as far as the best one I did was Cuba, okay, and
Okay.
I roasted a pork picnic, and I roasted that in the oven, okay, and I did that for probably 6 to 7 hours. But the brine, I brined it before, and we can't get sour oranges here in this country because I guess
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
embargo, whatever. But
Yeah.
I used orange, actually blood orange, and also lemon and lime, garlic. Okay, I put it into the bag, and I actually vacuum sealed it. And the next day, I put it into the roast. CJ, I'm telling you, I was like, oh no, the
I'm
knife
I'm
you hit.
trying to think of the name of that marinade, and it just skips my mind.
Moho. It's moho.
Yeah, a mojo. Yeah, a Cuban mojo. Yeah.
Yep. And I started
Yeah.
cutting into this, and it made us both happy because it was almost to the point where you could pull it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was crispy,
Yeah.
very
Oh
crispy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Ah,
my
and and
wife,
and and with a pork butt, that'll make some awesome Cuban sandwiches.
yeah. So, but I got away from it because they started getting crazy with, just different crazy countries that I wasn't really into it. I'm into something that to recreate, okay, with what I have, and then somebody else could do it, replicate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Try,
Tom, you won't see from us. You won't see these. These trendy videos. You won't see these fads. You won't see because I'm not into that, man. I think our fans have gotten to know us. They know when they hit that video, they're going to get something quality. They're not going to get something that some joker came up with. I don't know, fried chocolate chip cookies or something crazy. Yeah, you're not going to see it here. We're going to give you the best that we got.
yeah. Well, well, we're over an hour, and I tell you what, I can probably go on for another 2 hours. Uh, and I'm gonna let everybody know. I'll leave the link down in the description box for Mom and Papa Joe Barbecue. Great guy, as you just heard. Okay, I love him to death. I consider him a great friend, and please go check out his videos. All right, you're gonna learn a lot if you want to do some barbecue. He's even in the oven now. So,
Yeah. Well,
okay.
thank you so much, Tom. And once again, man, I really appreciate the invite and look forward to more conversations. Great conversation.
I appreciate it, sir. Listen, everybody, hit that like, subscribe button, and we will see you next Monday on Tom's Real Food Podcast. Take care, everybody.
Sit back and have a glass. Time for Tom's Real Food Podcast.